Hurry up and wait. It's a term that I heard so many times in the fire service. I also heard a lot of military members use this term, hurry up and wait. It was usually meant as a joke or a like a when people would scoff at a group of people that would get ready for something, whether it be a drill or anything, and then all of a sudden it was nothing. Everybody had to sit around and wait. It was interesting because this morning I was like, what am I going to talk about today? And that term came to mind because I'm looking at the economic news. Bond yields are blowing up. Silver and gold pumping. But there's like a pause happening right now. Possibility of Israel hitting Iran. Everybody's waiting to see what happens. It's like there's tons of information, and then all of a sudden, like this, I feel like in my spirit, a pause. You have been preparing for hard times for years. A lot of you have. How many of you? Type 1, I love it. I just love the enthusiasm. Type 1 if you've been preparing for a while for hard times and you feel like, when's it going to start? When's it going to start? Hurry up and wait is an interesting comment because it's a true phenomenon that happens with human beings all the time. And it's based on insecurity. When a group of people start a flurry of activity, it's always because they don't want to be the last there. They don't want to be known as the person that wasn't ready. The person, and I'm going to tell a funny story about this, but and then all of a sudden, because of insecurity, nobody wants to make the first step. Everybody just is like, okay, what are we doing now? Who's going to go first? Like, are we doing this? Is this actually going to happen? And it's out of insecurity because what those people, what everyone's usually waiting for is a handful of people or the mass or the majority of the group to push forward and do something, right? And I hope this makes sense. Let me tell a story. I'm going to a big fire down in San Diego, or LA, somewhere, and what's known as a strike team. It's a formation of 5 fire engines and 1 commander. That guy's usually completely useless. He's sitting in the fire SUV, pointing at, like, hey, there's a fire, go put it out. Like, yeah, no duh. Like, who's paying you for this? So anyway, we stop at a gas station, and everybody's following each other down there. We all have GPS units, but yet we like to be tight. We're a team, and we're always from different fire stations, usually, unless you're LA City and you think you know it all. Okay, I had to do that. We get into the gas station. It's pretty hard to put 5 fire engines at once in the gas station, but we usually figure out a way of doing it. We get all close, and we're all lined up for the fuel pump. And I look back and I could see the engineer in the engine right behind me, just white knuckling, just real serious. Is everybody sort of showing off, especially in the beginning of a strike team? We're all friends at the end, but we're trying to prove who's going to be better, cooler, more badass than the others, And so I look back at the engineer through my rearview mirror, and he's real serious. And this isn't my first rodeo. And I look at the other mirror and I could see the captain just sitting there, just shooting the crap. And the engineer's serious. The captain's just, having a good time. We're on a strike team. We're having fun. We're making money. And I tell my guys, like, hey, watch this. Watch the engineer. And I release the brake on my rig, and I creep forward just 3 feet. And I'm trying to show my guys a human behavior, and he's real quick, boom, and I go 3 feet and I stop, and he jumps up 3 feet. And they're like, what are you doing? And I go, watch this. I'm gonna do it again. And then another 3 feet, because I had a good 10 feet, so I had three iterations of this. He real quick just forward 3 feet, and by the third time, because if the engineer behind me looked at the engine in front of me, he would have saw that I couldn't go anywhere. I was just messing with him. And by the second time, he puts his hands up. He's like, what? he's only going 3 feet. And we start laughing. By the third time, he's banging on the dash. And we're laughing because all of a sudden the captain is like, well, what's going on? Why is he only going 3 feet? And he looks and catches our rearview mirror on the captain's side, on the passenger side, and he could see 3 grown men just laughing our butts off. And he's just holding his mouth, and he's pointing at his engineer, and his engineer's just banging on. And I'm pointing in my mirror, just looking right up, going, I got you. And so we, pull over to the pump, all jump out and run into the restroom. And the ladies, I don't know if you know this, but if a bunch of men go into the restroom, there's going to probably be some shenanigans, because in the stalls, we're all laughing, and the captain from that other rig is crying as he's going to the bathroom, standing there laughing. He's like, he's so pissed. My engineer is so pissed. He's like, please do more. Like, don't let it stop. And my point being is that this human emotion of hurry up and stop, hurry up and wait. And we used to laugh all the time. Everyone's hurry up and waiting. It's because there's an insecurity. That engineer behind me had a certain type or a level of insecurity that he didn't want there to be too big of a gap. I need to get my gas because I don't want to be the engine that's late, holding everybody up. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a confidence thing. And in the economy, we're doing the same thing. In corporate America, we're doing the same thing. This whole group is like, there's all this flurry of activity, and then all of a sudden, nothing. It's because nobody has the wherewithal, the cojones, the guts, I don't know, for lack of better terms, to just keep moving forward. And right now, I woke up and I looked at the news and I decided, I know it sounds crazy, I'm going to talk about this because it's one of those, wait, why isn't everything crashing moments? Why? It's because inside, everybody on Wall Street knows what's going on. I talk to people all the time. As a matter of fact, I just talked to one of the biggest buyers of homes in the nation. He's huge, and he works with these massive funds and sells them in groups of 500,000 homes at a time. And it's that we were talking about that gut feeling. He's like, oh, this is so bad. He goes, it's so bad compared to what was happening in 2008. But what happens is people, if that feeling goes a little bit longer, people sort of get back into their old routine and they go, well, if it's not crashing now, then it's probably never going to. And they say, well, the Fed will just keep printing. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today, because everybody says, oh, and they really do believe it. Oh, the Fed's going to save housing. The Fed's going to just save everything. They're just going to keep printing money. They can't. And here's the thing. They can't, because they risk the move into hyperinflation, which will discredit them. When an economy goes into hyperinflation, they blame the central bank, everyone. And I started this channel saying this one thing. I don't know if anyone will remember this. Type 2 if you remember. I used to say that everyone in the near future is going to become an expert in inflation. Everyone. I don't care if you're into economics or you're not. I don't care if you're into finance or not. Everyone is about to get a lesson. Okay, so Neil remembers, Mike. Okay, so people remember me saying that, because what I was going to say is it was going to smack everyone in the face. Very similar to like everybody in 2006 became a real estate expert. I used to say that when I was flipping homes. I said, everyone's going to become a real estate expert because this boom is going to involve so many people. It will be on so many people's minds. They'll be talking about it, right? So now this is where we're at. Everybody's an expert on inflation. 100 understand the effects and the feeling of inflation now. This is what comes next. Everybody's about to experience what it's like to go without on a handful of different levels. There are a lot of people that are about to experience in the next 2 years a supply chain cut that will make what happened during COVID look like child's play, because of trade deals completely smashed apart, broken. Some where countries, both sides, don't want them to be, because it's happening because of, let's say, the Strait of Hormuz shuts down, a trade route. Others will be broken because one country wants to starve another. okay, of either goods like big screen TVs or microprocessors. Please understand or think about what I'm saying here. Or it may be food, okay? A good example of that would be what happened when our oil prices were going up in the country, and the way that we store oil or we export it out, we could just easily tell all the ships turn around and come back here, and we're going to use up all the oil here. And like, well, we don't have enough. Our strategic oil, reserves are full, and it's just sort of not set up that way. That's probably not a good example, but I'll give you an example of avocados in California. We're a massive producer of avocados. Our avocados go somewhere else. A large percentage of them. A lot of people don't understand this. The avocados we get come in from Mexico. And the reason why it's set up that way is because then governments can legally rob you through inflation and through tariffs. They put a tax on the avocados coming in from Mexico, and then they send them out, ours, somewhere else. Whereas if we just ate all of our own, a certain percentage of California avocados stay in the U.S., a very small amount. And so by and large, you're buying the ones from Mexico. It says it on the label. Because then the government has the right to steal from you, rob you, and then take that money and fatten their wallets and ship it off. So we're being in this hurry up and wait moment. I want people to understand that the reason why it's that wait, that pause, is because right before a crash, right before an event, right before anything that humans do as a group, there's this slight pause because everyone's like, we're really doing this? Is this happening? Is it? And then just enough of the leaders start to move in one direction, and then the whole body goes with it. Man, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, type 4, because people need to be encouraged. And I'll say this, and I'll close on this. I started buying silver back when it was $18, around what, 2008, 2009? I don't remember the date. Yeah, it was like 2008. And it ran all the way up to like almost $50. I kept buying. Obviously, I was excited because the price was going up. But then when the price crashed, the buying got more intense. I started selling cars, trailers, tractors, and putting more money into it because I knew the fundamentals. And I kept thanking God every day. And this has been a long time. You can only imagine the amount of wealth that's obtained when you own businesses and you start ventures and things like that, and you're buying cryptocurrencies, you're buying all these things, and they go up and they crash down and you just gobble up even more. The same thing happened with Bitcoin. I started at 500, ran to like 19 and change, came down to, I don't remember what it was, $2,300. And it was like a whole new, I'm like, I get it. I believe in it. I kept thanking God. And I'm like, Lord, thank you for the opportunities. Because every day that I have to stack more sats or stack more silver, pay off debt, and now we're looking down the barrel of a gun right now economically, and I go, oh gosh, I'm ready. And I'm still stacking. I'm still doing all that stuff. And so I just want to encourage you. Hurry up and wait was always used as a mocking term in the fire service, but it is a real human emotion. It really does happen all the time. And let the haters hate, let the mockers mock. You keep rocking, and you're going to absolutely crush it in this crash. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you have an awesome day. I got to get on the road. The Economic Ninja is out.